just ends. Just ends, and then we're here. I'm happy and excited that Jerry. Now I can't hear Jerry. Jerry is having sporadic internet outage, so it might just be me tonight, which means it might be a short show.
All right, I turned it back on.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Okay.
Somehow it turned off. You're like a still.
I'm a still. Well, welcome to Loud and Nerdy on a Tuesday night. My name is JW Colwell. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like and enjoy our little rants on Tuesday nights, please subscribe to the Indie Escape Network on YouTube channel, on our Instagram, on our Facebook, on our threads, on our TikTok, on our X or Twitter, or whatever the fuck Crazy Pants is calling it today. Please like and subscribe us. And, you know, it doesn't mean it takes about 3 seconds, and it means the world to us. If you were here for last week's show, we had Last Known Location folks on. It was
Great
a blast. Show. We're going to have them back for something. I don't know, but I do want to say, if you go and you watch Last Known Location, they have a comedy show that is also on Tubi called Certifiable. It's 9 episodes. They're only about 14 minutes each. But basically the premise is Jennifer Kay, who we had on, and Amy Teresa play these two mentally incapacitated women who are creating their own reality inside a mental institution. And there's a doctor that's kind of overseeing it, and whether or not these two people who are, you know, mentally challenged can incorporate everybody in. So it's like an experiment, but it's also like whatever. They think they're starlets. So all of the people that come in contact with them inside the institution basically think they're part of a giant studio that's making movies and stuff. It's crazy. It's very funny though, and like you get into the characters, and you know it's completely different from what Jennifer and Amy did for Last Known Location. And so I'm going to recommend it. And also, they have season 2 coming up. Should be really great. So we want to welcome, and we might have them back to do a giant episode with them, with the folks from Certifiable. That might become something bigger than just a regular Tuesday night with us. But so stay tuned for that. Comments to start. What is this? Hi, Nighthawk. This is a podcast about pop culture, about movies and television. We hang out every Tuesday night. We talk movies. We talk television. We talk independent films. We talk all kinds of stuff. Sometimes we have casts on from independent films. Basically, our group is called the Indie Escape Network. This show is called Loud and Nerdy. So hopefully you stick around. Check it out. See if you like us. If you do, please subscribe. We appreciate it. We have some regulars we're going to say hi to too. But thanks for joining us, Nighthawk. Good evening, friends. Good evening, Ken McKernan.
Well, Ken.
Canadian Ken. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Joe Ridgely. Good evening, guys. Hi, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. And Nighthawk, like I said, what is this? It is a live podcast where you can also incorporate into the show, ask questions, do different things. By all means, ask about our toys behind us. Jerry has a really cool basement that we're going to go to later. We also do a Twilight Zone Redux. We're going through every episode of the original Twilight Zone that aired on CBS in the 60s. If that's your bag, you're in the right place.
I wanted to give a shout out.
Yeah,
give a shout out to happy birthday to Danny Donnelly.
It is Danny Donnelly's birthday. Yes, he was on last week for Last Known Location. Yeah, and star, and he's also in Certifiable, and he's also a production arm on Certifiable as well. So if that's your bag, Nighthawk 719. First off, Nighthawk is great. I would prefer just regular Nighthawk, like the 80s Sylvester Stallone movie with Rutger Hauer and Billy D. Williams, a fantastic 80s movie. But Nighthawk is super cool as well. Also, I'm a Lady Hawk fan as well. So I think you're in the right place. Nighthawk, I call it the Hot Mess Express. Thanks, Ken. I think that's a compliment, though. I think it's a compliment. I think it's a compliment.
I take it that way.
Tonight, what we're going to be talking about, Nighthawk, just to give you an idea, we have we're going to do a screen. I'm going to do a screen ranking. We're going to talk about the news of the week. We're going to talk about box office. Again, we do a thing at what it came from Jerry's basement. Sometimes it's a toy, sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it inspires madness, and sometimes, like last week, Jerry brought something out that inspired madness and a rediscovery of an 80s movie that's both a classic and a mess. It's a glorious mess. Like it's a wonderful, glorious spaghetti on the wall fantasy film called Krull. I have a poster here. I rewatched it after I rewatched Certifiable. So a couple things. It's good. Like it's not.
It is.
It's fun.
The sets are a lot of fun.
The sets are really great. Also, somebody brought up Danny Donnelly. Again, we're doing a lot of name dropping tonight, but Danny Donnelly brought up the fact that he noticed there was a sequence in a swamp. And I was like, yeah, the funny thing here, though, is the swamp occurs a year before the Neverending Story. This swamp occurs a year before the Neverending Story with the same concept. I mean, we're not going to lose a horse or anything in it, but we do lose some people in the swamp. But the swamp, like, he's like, so is that like what came first? And I texted him, I'm like, Krull came first with the swamp attack and the swamp, there's madness before the Neverending Story. So Neverending Story is certainly more popular than Krull, but does the Neverending Story, like, and I think Neverending Story is better. I'm not going to say it's not. Does the Neverending Story have the glaive though?
No.
Look at that thing.
Every one of us wanted that when we were a kid.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm not saying when you're a kid, I want it now.
I still want it, yes.
Also, I don't know if you know, but I was digging around on YouTube when I was playing, I went Krull mad last week. I was digging around on YouTube. Do you know that the guy who does Mythbusters tracked one down at an auction?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so then I went down a rabbit hole. So first off, it was a limited edition, one of the working props, but it was a prop that could only be displayed from the front like that. And basically, it was a fully functional glaive.
That's awesome.
But there was no back on it. So you could see how all the mechanisms worked.
That's kind of cool.
And so the guy from Mythbusters, had a white glove on, turned it over, and he's just going over all like how intricate the detailing is because it was fully functional. Like the knives went in and came out. And like, so it wasn't like an effect or anything. It was like somebody built a glaive. And so and then I went down further down the rabbit hole. I'm like, how much did this glaive go for in this British auction in 2022? And it was like one of like, I think they said there's one of like 10 that are left. Jerry, can you give me an estimation in US dollars how much it went for in 2022?
10 grand? I don't know.
$80,000.
I guess I was a little off, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Just 8 times off. But like I said, fun movie. I think we inspired other people to watch it. I think the Last Known Location folks are watching it. I don't know. So sometimes it inspires madness. Nighthawk. I love that film. True. So Blade kind of made a knockoff. No, because they're like Blade thing is more like a Batarang, is what I would say, Ken, right? The Blade thing that he throws around the rave at the beginning of the movie is more of a Batarang, right? It's more of a Batarang. I don't think the glaive. It doesn't have. First off, it doesn't have 5 arms, right? It's more of a Batarang. It's more of a Bladerang. Anyway, that's kind of what that is, Nighthawk. But let's get to movie news. new movies coming out, movies that are happening. Actually, let's do the rest in peace first, because we had 2 rest in pieces that are kind of like sad. I touched upon one on the show the other day. Eric Dane died. Again, mostly known for television. McSteamy, of course, on Grey's Anatomy. If you have a wife in her 40s, they've been watching Grey's Anatomy for how long, right? He also did a show called The Last Battleship on TNT that was kind of like a cult show about like Armageddon, and he was like the skipper of one of the last Navy ships that was like kind of hunkered down after an apocalypse kind of event. But he was a good actor. He died of Lou Gehrig's disease. He was only 53, Jerry, which is
right.
Which is terrible. And so we wish him the best and his family the best. Our condolences go out to them. Now this one today hit a little closer to home for me because I knew him in 2 ways. Robert Carradine passed away, and Robert Carradine, I know him 2 ways, and the first way I knew him was because my JW stands for John Wayne. My dad was a John Wayne fan. Robert Carradine was in a movie called The Cowboys. And he plays a young kid in the movie. And basically the movie is about John Wayne as a cattle rancher, and he doesn't have anybody to work his cattle and take them to sale in Kansas City. So he hires a group of young men, like anywhere from 12 to 17, to do this cattle drive with him. And he, of course, runs into trouble. There's a villain in the piece, it's played by Bruce Dern. But Robert Carradine was one of the kids. He was one of the boys. And he's fantastic in the movie. All of the kids are. Like, it's a bunch of kids and John Wayne and Bruce Dern. It is a fantastic movie. It is. He's also an Orca, yeah. And then yes, the other place I know him from is Revenge of the Nerds, right? He's Louis Skolnick. Wavelength as well. Yeah, so many movies, but he's Louis Skolnick to everybody from our generation, right? Yep. Revenge of the Nerds came out in 1984.
I got the VHS.
It's kind of it's in a weird place. Revisionist wise, right? In 1984 was a very big comedy about nerds taking revenge, but in recent times it's kind of come under scrutiny for the various pranks they pull off that aren't necessarily great. I mean, they're great. They were great in 84, but they're not necessarily great now. But Robert Carradine had all these things. There is a fantastic movie called The Long Riders, which has 2 sets of brothers. It has 2 sets of brothers. It has the Carradine brothers and it has the Keach brothers. And it's a Western, and it's like he's one of the younger people in the cast. And it's a really good movie. And we're hearing bits and pieces about what happened to him, how he passed away. And it's, he had
a good career, though.
He had a good career. He also, secondly, if you go through his cast, Long Riders, Big Red One, Heartaches, Tag the Assassination Game, which is a fantastic movie, a great HBO movie, Revenge of the Nerds, Just the Way You Are, Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise. But he was, he's in Escape from LA. He's in a lot of movies. He's in a lot of things that you don't necessarily think. But the one thing that he kind of is known for recently, he was in the Lizzie McGuire show, right? He was Lizzie McGuire's dad on the Lizzie McGuire show. So, and apparently he had some mental issues and, a little bit of bipolar disorder, and family's kind of, keeping quiet on it, but rest in peace, Robert Carradine. He was 71. That's a little bit better than 53, but still, it's a sad day. The Carradine family is one of the great families. He also appeared with his dad, right? He appeared with his dad and his his dad, John Carradine, right? So film debut was in the Cowboys. Also was in Mean Streets. He was in a lot of things, and he started with his dad in Kung Fu. When Kung Fu came back, or when Kung Fu started, and then he came back and did it again. So he had a lot of things. Lizzie McGuire, Hilary Duff, which was a big show. He was the dad on that. So it's like, I don't know. It's sad to hear, and we wish the Carradine family our condolences go out to them as well on this sad day when we lose somebody that we care about, that made us laugh, made us smile. Was a good actor. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm gonna back out and come back in again. See if I can.
Okay, I'm gonna do comments and then you come back. Bye. I'm bringing you down. Oh, that's a big face to have just all by myself. Let's get some comments. Howdy, family. Howdy, Lauren. Good to have you. We also had the Camera X folks on a couple weeks ago, so we're doing some independent movies. We have some more lined up in the works as well. But thank you for joining us tonight, Lauren. Thank you for calling us family. We appreciate it. Nerds. Hey, boys. Hey, Raven Hanshaw. Nerds. Literally have a friend who only knows him from Lizzie McGuire. So sad. Yeah, Martin Short's daughter also passed away. Apparently a self-inflicted wound. That's also incredibly sad and tragic. She was only 42. And it's at this point of the show where I say, if you need help, or if you need to talk to somebody, or please reach out, find somebody to talk to, or call a friend, or friends are there for a reason, to keep everybody up and running. And also if you have friends, it's sometimes a tough time, especially winter, sometimes tough. Reach out, find them, just do a call to check in, make sure everybody's okay. Let's see how Jerry's doing with internet. Take 2. Jerry, how you doing? You back?
I'm back. You're not there at all now. I can hear you though.
We'll move. We're fine. You don't need to see me. I am wearing a stunning Nightmare on Elm Street shirt, though. Look at that, Freddy Krueger. Anyway, Wes Craven, Carradine curse. Yeah, there's always talk of like curses with some of these big families, but when I say a Carradine curse, a lot of families go through it. You know what I mean? People like lose their way, or people like have mental disorders, or mental health is so very important in this life. And I think it's one of the few things that we have allowed to kind of become stigmatized, or, and we shouldn't. We should take it very seriously and not judge anybody if they do have mental disorder, if they take something for it or anything. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just be good for people. I think Jerry's frozen. Jerry's definitely frozen. Oh no, you're moving. Okay, you're checking your phone. It looked like you're frozen for a second. So that's the sad news. Better news. Well, some better news. Numbers. Let's talk box office. Let's talk. So we had a new number 1 this week, which is cool. Goat is now the number 1 movie in the country. I could have seen it coming. Goat kind of came on strong last weekend, coming in second place to Wuthering Heights, which was kind of front loaded, kind of like an event movie for like a comic book or a sci-fi event movie. Wuthering Heights came in second, and then just a series of I can only imagine, which is like from Lionsgate, I can only imagine 2 gross $7.7 million, which is again, way down from the original's $20 million opening, which greenlit a sequel, right? So it's a law of diminishing returns there. Other movies in the top 10, we're going to talk about a couple of them. Crime 101 came in at 5.5 million. Goat, by the way, only off 38% from its opening weekend, which is big. Wuthering Heights was down 57%. So, and they're both teetering around $58-59 million. Send Help was in fifth place, only down 50%, 4.4 million. 55 million for the Little Movie That Could, Sam Raimi's Little Movie That Could movie. That is kind of like a great welcome return to Sam Raimi making thrillers. Give me all the Sam Raimi thrillers we can get. That's something I think is an interesting thing where we need to start talking about getting our directors back to making some of the stuff that they were really good at. And they were so good at it, they got to broaden their horizons. But come back every once in a while. Other movies in the top 10 include How to Make a Killing, which was the other new release this weekend. One of the new releases this weekend. I reviewed it. It's Glenn Powell. It's based on Kind Hearts and Coronets. It's okay. It's not great. And this is one of the things that I would say is it is really hard, Jerry. And I don't think people think this, but it is really hard to make a dark comedy, right? It's really hard to make a bone black dark comedy where you're talking about killing family members so that you can gain an inheritance. And I think because we had a series of dark films in the 90s or late 80s that everybody just assumes that they can be made over. Like everybody thinks they can make Heathers. Everybody thinks they can make Heathers, Jerry. And they can't make Heathers. And so I just think it's one of those things where it's, Glenn Powell's fine. Margaret Qualley's also in it. It has a really good cast. Ed Harris is in it. Zach Woods from Silicon Valley. Topher Grace all play family members. But it's like a miss, and it's a miss. Tonally, it's a miss, and then because it's funny at some parts, but it's tonally it's a miss because the ending of it, and I'm not going to give anything away because we don't do spoilers, but the ending is not. It's not. It's not where you want the characters to be. So sometimes dark comedies land in that spot where they end with an ending that you don't like for the characters you've come to love over maybe an hour and a half, right? And they get caught up in a bad ending. And then what happens is that bad ending makes the rest of the movie bad. And that's kind of what happens here. But that came in fifth place. But it was only on, here's the weird thing, it was only on 1,600 screens. So it grossed $3.5 million. They had an epic Elvis Presley in concert movie that came out, Baz Luhrmann, only on 325 screens. I think it's going to get expanded as we progress through the rest of the year, up to 3.2 million for that. So that movie had the highest average of the weekend. Solo Mio, the Kevin James movie from Angel Studios, stayed in the top 10. Zootopia 2 was at 9, Jerry. And Avatar Fire and Ash was at 10. And Psycho Killer was at 11. Psycho Killer bombed, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I do want to touch base on Zootopia 2 and Avatar Fire and Ash. First off, Jerry, let me ask a question. Which movie is bigger? Avatar Fire and Ash or Zootopia 2?
Well, probably Zootopia.
Yes, but it's not what everybody thinks. What I would say the most interesting thing about it is
though, right?
It is definitely a wider audience, and it's a kids movie. But Zootopia 2, right now, domestic gross is $423.9 million. International is $1.425 billion. So it's at $1.849 billion. It is one of the biggest animated movies of all time. And if I told you, Jerry, that total $1.8 billion, it beats Fire and Ash by $400 million. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card. Also, Zootopia 2 is at at 9 and Avatar's at 10. Zootopia's been playing since Thanksgiving. It's still in theaters and it's available to stream. So it's a longevity we don't have anymore. And Avatar is the same way, but Avatar isn't available to stream. So let's talk about one of the bigger.
That's a long run.
That's a huge run. Yes, that's
real long run.
That's a real long run. This movie also opened this weekend. This movie bombed. This movie was on the shelf for 3 years. It's a cat and mouse movie. It's not great, and it has interesting things. But what I had said in my review on Friday is it misses because the bigger qualities of the film, the satanic killer that's out on the highways of America, and this cop is tracking him, and the killer's cool, but he's a Satanist, and it's like, but it's as futile a view of Satanism as possible. Like it's like like an 80s newspaper version of what Satanism is. You know what I mean? Like it's all crazy, like, oh my God, Satanism, he's drawing pentagrams. Ooh. And then what I also said was it's a horror movie, and it has this hulking guy. He is huge. He is 6'7". He is huge. He wears the gas mask. He has like a jacket. He hits people with sledgehammer. Like but Jerry, it's a combination of practical effects and CGI. And you know my rules. If a horror movie has too much CGI,
yeah,
it fucking ruins it. It ruins it.
I always thought CGI was better for sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, and so for example, like, and they use it for stupid shit. It's the blood splatters. It's the you know what I mean? Like,
they're the worst.
They're the worst.
When they fake them, they're the worst.
So what I will say, the interesting thing about it is it's written by Andrew Kevin Waller, who wrote the original 7 and 8mm. So it has a dark tinge to it, but it's also, and it's got Malcolm McDowell's in it. He shows up and it's late, and it's like, you're like, I'm glad he's working, right? I'm glad he's getting a job and a gig, but the role is so beneath him that you're like, But that movie came in 11th and so we're getting ready for a packed February and the end of February and March. This week, we have a big movie opening. One of the bigger Scream 7 opens this week, right? I think people, I'm excited about. I don't know about anybody else. I'm a big fan of the franchise. I've been on board since day one. I was literally in a theater day one of Scream, and I've been on board ever since. So that opens this week. And then also, if you are a parent and you haven't seen Goat, you should take your kids to see Goat. But there is a special screening on Saturday of the new Pixar movie Hoppers that's coming out this week as well. Hoppers opens the following week, but I will have a review of it after I see it on Saturday. So we will be talking about that movie. Pixar's latest looks really interesting, about a little girl who jumps into the body of a groundhog and basically inspires an animal uprising, which sounds great. Also, the film has a firm grasp on death in the animal kingdom. But if you've seen the trailer's great. Like, there's all these different creatures within the swamp that it's taking place in, and every time a creature talks or says something, they immediately get eaten by a bigger creature, which I think is a great thing for kids to learn. There's like a little worm who's like crawling. He's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Woof, and he gets grabbed by a bird. And so I think Pixar, and this is, I'm saying this wholeheartedly, Pixar needs a hit that's not a sequel. They really do. They need something that's not Toy Story 5 or The Incredibles 3 or You know,
Yeah,
and
at this point, right?
they need something. They need something to catch that's original.
Yeah.
And like
Like
I'm
once
not
upon a
saying.
time, Disney was in trouble because of them, and now they're in trouble.
Well, the funny thing is, Disney's found their way. The last bunch of Disney movies have been like Zootopia and Zootopia 2, and you know what I mean. They get it. You know what I mean. The last bunch of Disney movies have been pretty good.
You're moving
Pixar
around.
movies have been good. They just haven't produced like what happened was during the COVID, people were trained not to go to Pixar movies because they were giving them for free, and so now people just wait. Right, like Turning Red was a great Pixar movie, but nobody saw it in theaters. They all saw it at their house, and that led to people kind of changing their the way they view Pixar movies. Like, oh, if I can get them for free, I'll just wait. Which is fucking weird. Okay, some comments, and then we'll talk some more. Heart from Raven.
You're moving.
Asian countries love animation movies. Yeah, Zootopia 2 is. China has eaten Zootopia 2 up with a thing. I heard terrible things about it. Brett, what are you talking about? I'm
I think that came right after
Psycho Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there. Like I was saying after I saw it, there's something there. There's an interesting concept that they don't extrapolate out. I don't want to ruin the movie, but there's an interesting concept, and there's like a tie-in with real life events, two real life events. It's a miss. Also, the CGI really ruins it. Yeah, swing and a miss. Ensures that Zootopia 3, 4 is greenlit and fast track. I hope so. The shows on Disney have been pretty good. Like the backstories for some of the sideline characters. There's a fun little Zootopia kind of like short series on Disney Plus. That's good too. Get thrown out of the original Scream in my angsty, horrible teen phase. Yeah, say that. My Scream story is a great one. I was in a show at the University of Scranton. The entire cast, we had a cast party that Thursday night, and this was before regular Thursday night screenings, right before it was a regular thing. So we had a cast party, and then everybody at the cast party made the plans to go to the first showing the next day at 1:00, and me and one other person, Andrew Howell, showed up. We're the only two people there. We fucking loved it. We came out of it going, "This is the greatest thing we've ever seen." And we still talk about it to this day. Him and I are friends on Facebook. We talk about it. Onward was great, and Turning Red were great. They were both good, but they were stuck at home, right? Pixar needs a hit in theaters, and March is shaping up to be really great because March, if you haven't paid attention, ticket wise, you got The Bride coming. The Bride and Hopper is the first Friday. You got Project Hail Mary. You got Project Hail Mary. You got Ready or Not, Here I Come, which again, that is a great first movie. Ready or Not is one of the best movies of the last 5 years. A fantastic film, right? A fantastic thriller. That movie is coming out, so all those tickets are on sale now. I was looking through, like I just picking up your tickets and getting your tickets before, just making sure you have them for everything. You know what I mean? But Project Hail Mary's coming, The Bride's coming, Hoppers is like a really good March that I think and then by April we'll have the Mario movie, and the box office should be humming by then.
Mario.
So, it's me, Mario. And Yoshi, baby. Yoshi's here. Okay. So what I thought would be fun to do, Jerry, tonight as our main one other story. So Netflix is trying to acquire Warner Brothers. Paramount's making another bid for Warner Brothers. I hope Netflix gets Warner. I would, in a great world, Warner Brothers just stays by themselves. Right? Warner Brothers, one of the greatest studios of all time, just stays. But if it does get gobbled up by something or gobbled up with something, I am clearly in the Netflix camp now because Ted Sarandos has sold me that he will leave Warner Brothers alone, and it's just for content, and he won't strip it for its parts. I do not feel that way about Paramount and the Ellisons. I don't feel that way. I just don't feel that they understand the implications of why Warner Brothers is important. So they can fuck right off. And one of the things that's happened is Ted Sarandos has not only sold me, he sold Hollywood. And one of the interesting things that came up this week was that Ted Sarandos is becoming more and more open to things like the Criterion Collection, which is a collection of discs that are well done, really competently made. And one of the announcements that came out of and there's only been like there's only been a handful of Criterion Collection Netflix things, Roma, The Irishman, and a couple others. So there haven't been that many, but it was announced yesterday that the Criterion Collection is doing discs for K-Pop Demon Hunters, which is a fantastic movie. And they're doing a Criterion Collection disc for Frankenstein. So I think Ted Sarandos is smart enough to realize that when you start putting out Criterion Collection discs, that is a way to ingratiate yourselves to the people running Hollywood, right? It is a way to say, I understand that you have a love for film and that your love for film, it's a very important thing. And these two movies are two of the most popular streaming movies of the year. Didn't get heavy rotation in theaters, right? The Frankenstein got 2 weeks and K-Pop Demon Hunters they got a screening and then they got another screening, like a screening weekend where it was, playing on the big screen for a weekend where they had like 5 shows of it and it grossed $21 million around the country. You know what I mean? Like, so I just think it's a good sign. And I wanted to congratulate K-Pop Demon Hunters and Frankenstein for getting the Criterion Collection.
It's crazy how fast movies come and go out of the theaters.
It's not great. And
like back in the day, it was like you could go there
Jerry,
4 weeks later and still watch it.
Jerry, we were talking about Around the World in 80 Days last night. First off, Around the World in 80 Days in 1956 made $42 million. That equates out, adjusted for inflation, box office of around $500 million. When you read up on Around the World in 80 Days, Around the World in 80 Days played for 15 months at one theater in New York City. 15 months. 2.1 million people saw that movie in that theater.
That's crazy.
The Rivoli in New York City. Fucking nuts. Just crazy. And the idea that we have movies that open 1 week and are streaming the next, it's not good for movie theaters. It's not really particularly good for movies either. Like, movies are meant to be seen on a big screen. I think people make movies to be seen on a big screen. Streaming's nice. It's great to be able to watch all the movies. Like, my dad's dream world was a world where he could punch up on his TV and be able to watch anything he wanted to watch just by having it or whatever. But it's not a perfect world. So that's how I feel about that. But I'm happy about the Criterion Collection for those two movies because I think they are two of the more important movies of the year. And I think we're going to see that some at the Oscars. Okay, comments. And then we're going to talk some Scream. The Irishman was hours of my life and I'll never get back. Never again. It's not a bad movie. It's not his best movie.
It was okay. I thought it was okay.
Around the World in 80 Days, a Jackie Chan classic live. Bite your tongue. The Jackie Chan movie is so bad. It's so bad. But I didn't particularly enjoy it.
That was a good one.
I didn't particularly enjoy Around the World in 80 Days. The 56 movie that won Best Picture was 3 hours long and just very slow and clunky and just very much a travelogue that was designed for Cinerama. But
Rumble in the Bronx, I think, is the one that put Jackie Chan on our radar.
I go Legend of Drunken Master, but that's just because we were watching in college. I was watching kung fu movies and eating gourmet cheeseburgers at a friend's apartment.
Was that before that though, or was that after that?
Legend of Drunken Master? Before.
Was it before?
I believe so. This is the show to do this. Hold on.
Right. I don't even know.
Rumble in the I think Rumble in the Bronx was a huge hit, a Miramax hit in America, right? Legend
Yes,
of
but
Drunken
that's what I mean.
Master. Drunken Master 2 is 94. It
But
technically
he did like a remake of that later, right?
yeah. There's one in 2000 as well. Huh. Legend of Drunken Master 94. When did Rumble in the Bronx? Okay, this is good. You might be right.
95, I think Rumble in the Bronx came out in 95. But that's what I remember seeing in the movies, and it's like then they're showing all the clips.
Rumble in the Bronx is 95. Legend of Drunken Master is 94. Technically, I win this one. I don't win them all,
the Cannonball
but this
Run.
one I got.
Ken's got it.
Jackie Chan in the Cannonball Run. Yeah. Did JW wax his eyebrows? No. There's a glare. I got a haircut. So no, I did not wax my eyebrows. No. And if I did, what's it to you? Men can groom. Okay, Rush Hour. Yeah, Rush Hour, but Rush Hour is well past his prime. And he's, the funny thing about Rush Hour, not past his prime, but certainly not like he was doing all of his own stunts in the Rush Hour movies, which, by the way, maybe we might get another Rush Hour movie, which is just crazy. There's no reason for another Rush Hour movie. But yeah, he is in Cannonball. He's in Cannonball Run. Yeah. So Jackie Chan was a huge person for movie fans around the world before he hit big in the 90s, right? He was the biggest star in Hong Kong cinema, right? So, but then the 90s came and there were a bunch of Jackie Chan movies that came out from Miramax where they kind of just redubbed his movies and shot them out.
Yeah, they did.
As quick as possible. And, people like me ate them up. But Drunken Master is the one Legend of Drunken Master is fun. Because it ties into Dungeons and Dragons. Because you can play a drunken monk. And so everybody, like after Legend of Drunken Master, everybody had at least one Drunken Master character in their portfolio that was like a drunk that would get into fights in bars. It was inevitable after that movie. Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care that it's his favorite movie. We don't need another fucking Rush Hour. Stop. It's crazy that he's delving into the entertainment industry at all. Anyway,
we've got actor Brett Wagner watching tonight. Appreciate it. If you want to come on sometime, please let us know.
Yeah, Brett, we're super excited. Heard terrible things. Yeah, it's not like I think for the terrible things, the psycho killer terrible things. CGI is a bad thing in horror films. Also, Brett, I should note it kind of sat in the shelf for like 3 years. 3 years does nothing to help a movie at all. It just doesn't. Okay, so I thought for fun tonight, with the new Scream movie opening this week, this movie, Scream 7, opening this week, I thought it would be fun, Jerry, to rank the Scream movies. We do it on occasion, but I thought a good ranking of the Scream films would be a great way to kind of like...
I don't even know if I've seen all of them.
I've definitely seen all of them. I
probably did, but my memory's going to be...
I think they have there are various things that work and don't work, but the interesting thing about the franchise that I always felt was great was that they always adapt to whatever, they made 3 movies and then the 3 movies were hits. And then, the jump in years, it goes from, Scream 1 comes out December 20th, 1996. Again, I was on on the ground at a matinee that day. The second one comes out December 12th, 1997, almost a year to the date later.
That's my birthday.
It's a quick turnaround as well. And then the third one comes out February 4th, 2000, so 3 years. Then it jumps from 2000 to 2011. Scream 4 comes April 15th, 2011. Then Scream, which is the 2022 movie, comes out 11 years after the 4. Scream 6 comes out March 10th, 2023. And now we get Scream 7 February 27th, 2026. So it's like they go in short bursts and then they come up with new ideas, and then there's usually a trilogy, right, of some sort, or by themselves. But I was trying to come up with a good list, and I always go backwards. So we'll do it by Ghostface. We'll do it by things inside of it. The worst movie in the franchise to me, and it's again not. Worst is still better than half the movies that I see, slasher movies that I see. Scream 3 is the worst of the franchise. This is the one that takes place solely in Hollywood. They're making, they hit upon, it came out in 2000, right? So it's 3 years after Scream 2. This is the one where they did the trilogy jokes, right? Where Randy was killed in Scream 2, but he shows up in Scream 3 in a video that says, if some piece of vital information shows up, you're not in a sequel, you're in a trilogy, right? So they kind of had the Return of the Jedi understanding of, weird things happening and a big major bit of information that gets dropped. And in this one, it was Maureen Prescott was an actress. She may have been in Hollywood. She may have been a starlet. They go to the studio where they're filming the stab movies, and Sydney's looking for insights into her mother, right? It's okay. It has some good casting. It's fine, but it's inevitably the worst of the franchise, right? It's if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a cinema score of B, which is not great for horror films. But the Ghostface is Roman. He's the movie's director that has basically lured everybody there to try to figure it out. And it's okay. It's not the best of the franchise. It's just okay. And Ghostface is Roman. He's the director, right? So, it's fine, but it's not anything that they were doing.
It's Busta Rhymes, Michael Myers.
It's not Busta Rhymes, Michael Myers. So it was directed by Wes Craven, but Kevin Williamson, who had written the scripts for the first two, is not on board for this one. This one is written by Aaron Kruger, who is a well-known botched screenplay person, and he basically had to take Kevin Williamson's ideas and kind of formulate a script. It's okay. You know what I mean? It also kind of jumps in and around the Me Too movement because, again, she's a studio character that gets caught up in sexual politics and in the film industry. So it's got that going on right around the time when before the Me Too movement, but where it's reevaluated. Okay, so that's Scream 3. 5 for me of the movies we've already seen. So that's 6. 5 for me. Scream 4. This one, again, we're talking about an 11-year absence. Comes out in 2000. It comes out in 2011. And this is the one where we have a good Ghostface. We actually have, I think there's a trio of Ghostface in this one. And we also have Hayden Panettiere is in it. It's also got Emma Roberts is really, yeah, no worries. Emma Roberts is really good, and she's spoiler alert, she's the Ghostface leader. But this one does found footage. This one does, cameras that the Ghostface is wearing a camera at all the kills, and it has a really good, it has a good vibe to it. But it's what do you got? Oh, you got Ghostface.
Yeah.
Look at you. It's no, it's scary. Again, not the best of the franchise, not the worst, but not, it's fine. It kept the franchise alive. When you're looking at, it's one of the again, Emma Roberts is really good in it. She's a fantastic kind of villain. It's at 61% Rotten Tomatoes, B- cinema score. So nothing major. That's 5. Cool. Well done. I'm gonna go, the next one I'm gonna go with Scream 6. This was the most recent one, took place in New York. Really good cast. Hayden Panettiere returns from Scream 4, where everybody thought she was dead, but she returns as a cop. Also has, a good cast. It has the people from the Scream 2022 movie that come back. Jenna Ortega is the lead. Jenna Ortega is fantastic. Jenna Ortega needs to be in more stuff, and this one is really good. Sequel-wise, it has good kills. It's a little bit overly violent. It does have a great bodega scene with Ghostface getting a shotgun, which is, not necessarily in line with the rest of the franchise, but it ties everything together with a really cool end of. The end of it is fantastic. It's set in a theater that is housing all of the artifacts from all of the original killings because family members are part of it. So it's fun. It's well done. It's the third best Scream movie, or fourth best Scream movie. Scream 2022 is third for me because it reimagined. It sounded like you're peeing. It reimagined the franchise and also was able to, establish some things. It brought the Jenna Ortega character in. It well done, effective 2022, one of 2022's biggest hits. And that's where you start to see the turn where the franchise kind of returns strong. 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, a B+ cinema score, which is insanely high for a horror film. And that also, like, Scream 3, Scream 4, 89 million, 38 million. Scream 5, 81 million. Scream 6, 108. So it's not only do they come back, Scream 5 and Scream 6, much later, 2022, but both of them end up making really good money, and they're effective, well done, well received movies. And again, this is like they move with the tides. This is about basically the killers end up being people that are obsessed with the Scream franchise, including now Oscar winner Mikey Madison, who's one of the killers, as well as Jack Quaid is the other Ghostface. So really well done, effective. It also gave the idea that they're going to bring back more characters because Billy Loomis returns in this one. And basically he is the voice of one of the characters in her head because he is her father. And he is, Billy Loomis has produced an offspring who may be as crazy as he was. Scream 2. I'm obviously going to be smart, but Scream 2 proved that there was concept of franchise. Scream 2 also has two of the best killer like Billy Loomis's mom and some sociopath that she picked up off the street are the killers in this one. It has a great end scene in a theater where, an Oedipus show is going on. Like, it's Grand Guignol. We lose it, like Scream 2 also had the the good sense of, first off, it killed Jada Pinkett in the first 5 minutes, like the original. It also kills a major character, which is Gutsy. It kills easily everybody's favorite character, right? And you know, Randy was the film nerd that understood everything, and he survives the first movie, and he gets into this movie, and he gets absolutely wrecked in a sequence that is on a college courtyard where their phone calls are going back and forth, and then Randy gets dragged into a van and just hacked up, right? But Scream 2 is really good. It had a good cast, good, like, well done. Wes Craven, a year after the fact, amazing. But if you're going to pick a Scream movie, you pick the original. Drew Barrymore's on the first one. Drew Barrymore's on the poster. Drew Barrymore dies first 5 minutes, which is widely regarded as one of the greatest opening sequences in any film ever. Right?
Who was the killer in the original 1980 Friday the 13th?
Yes. I know that one. Jason. Jason's the killer. I saw all of them. If you had seen all of them, you would have known it was Mrs. Voorhees. But this is the one that starts it all. This is the one that understands that it's a meta franchise that is as much about loving horror films as it is about being a slasher film, right? And one of the reasons the franchise expands, and it's just it did something that nobody had done before. It has two killers before anybody thought of the concept of having two killers, except a couple movies like from the 70s that you and I know about, but nobody really knows about. You know what I mean? Including some Italian horror films, right? But it gets it, it understands it. It's fun, it's quick, it's irreverent, it's smart. And it is the gold standard by which Scream films should be judged. It's also the gold standard by which many slasher films should be judged. Like if you hit me up on instant DMs or like commenting or anything, and this is one of my gold standards. The original Halloween, this, Nightmare on Elm Street, right, are the three for me that are the gold standard. Like, supernatural horror. Jason, Michael Myers is not really supernatural, but he becomes supernatural. But first one isn't supernatural. First one's just babysitter killer. And then this, which is like the meta version that loves franchises as much as it is a franchise, right? That's the key to Scream movies. And my love for the Scream movies goes so deep that basically what I'd said in defending them, and I'll continue to say this, the reason they succeed is because they do up the ante and they also change with the times. They're smart. Like, they understand that if you're going to be meta, you have to be meta all the way. So I can appreciate that. Let's get some comments about my choices. There is. Stu. Yeah, maybe. I'll be right back. You never know. So the first Scream movie in the theater just because a friend and a group of us got it for free. I dug it. I think it's up on cable. I haven't seen any Beyond 2. You're missing out, Joe. They're fun. They're fun movies. Like, and the last two especially.
We got them to watch Krull though.
I'm gonna be rewatching Scream the next couple of days to prepare all of them. I seen them filming part of Scream 6 on the street I used to live. I'm not sure if it made it in the movie. Yeah, I know they filmed in Canada for that one. Let's see. My theory is we're going to have AI modulated voice, and that's why we're getting Steve's voice and everybody else's voices, which will bring us to current meta like the original movies. Sure. They are, what I think, the reason they're enduring is because they change with the times. They're smart enough to change with the times. And I think, we might get that. I have a love-hate relationship with Scream movies and nostalgia. I love them storyline, but they're not always the best movies. But I've seen them just like the rest. Of course you will. Scary Movie 6 will parody Sinners, Weapons, A Quiet Place, and some others. Yeah, I did. I'm going to be honest. I love Scream. I'm not scared. So if you don't know, and this is a tidbit, this is a good tidbit. Just so we're clear, Scary Movie 6 also made. Scary movies are made by Miramax. Scream movies were made by Miramax. But I don't know if you know this, Ken. The original title for Scream was Scary Movie.
It was.
It was, and actually, it's the reason at the end of the movie, Gail says, like something out of a scary movie, as the movie is ending. So it was supposed to be a place where they did it, but they ended up with Scream, which has served it well. Scream, Rocky Horror Picture Show reference, yeah, Scream 6. Gotta talk scary movie franchise. You're talking Scream and it's coming back. No, I don't. I think the scary movie franchise brought about scary movie franchise brought all those crappy garbage parody movies that were not good, that were just awful. Not another teen movie, all that trash that, just no. So the scary movies started out okay, but no, I know we're getting it back, but anyway, the Scream, the rules, yes. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård's new flick, Dead Man's Wire, queued up for After All, and has Al Pacino too. Anyone else seen it? Yeah, I saw it. It's good. It's really good. It's based on a real life event. It is very good. It is very intense. And Skarsgård is great. Al Pacino is okay. He's not in it that much. It's more of a movie with Skarsgård and the kid from Stranger Things who played Max's brother. They're the two leads. And it's based on a true story. It's really good. It's very good. It is very good. So anyway, let's jump, Jerry, to your basement. What's coming out of Jerry's basement this week? Can you cause a crawl-like revival last week?
Maybe, but everybody has probably seen this, but it's a movie that withstands the test of time. But I've got a bunch of things. We've got Jaws.
Nice.
Here, this is a beer koozie. We've got the soundtrack here.
One of the greatest soundtracks ever put on film.
CD. We've got the book, the Peter Benchley novel. Now,
I don't know if people know this, but if you read the book, Matt Hooper is not a good person in it, and Matt Hooper dies at the end because he's not a good person. He has an affair with Chief Brody's wife.
Of course, the VHS.
Oh, nice.
Have to have that, right? We've got the Laserdisc edition here.
Ooh. Very cool. Look at that. Laserdisc edition. That's amazing.
We've got the soundtrack here on LP vinyl.
Look at you. You quite the Jaws collection. I'm very jealous.
And then we've got this little Amity pin here. And then we've got the lunchbox.
Jaws the lunchbox. Jaws the flamethrower.
And the thermos.
It's got a thermos. Look at you. Can you imagine getting soup or milk in your thermos, your Jaws thermos as a 70s kid?
I was bringing these to lunch, like at my job, carrying these lunch boxes. And people are like, but they were loving it. Like, where'd you get the lunchbox from?
Yeah.
I brought the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one to work once.
Because the lunchbox, that was a sign of, how cool that was the lunchbox pick in the 80s. You would go before school started, and it was the biggest choice of the year.
Right.
Because next to book bag, right? Not clothes for kids. What's my lunchbox going to be?
The lunchbox.
How cool? And the metal lunchboxes that we had in the 80s for Empire, for Jedi, for they didn't have Raiders at that point. But
you'll see more lunch boxes on here.
Yeah, because I think lunch boxes are.
I've got some more.
I just got one. My wife got me an Indiana Jones one for Christmas. So.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I don't have one of those.
Yeah, I'll bring it out next week. It'll be out. I'm in a basement. I'm in an upper chamber of my house. Okay, so Jaws collectibles, super cool. The vinyl, super cool. The laser disc, I'm sure you could sell for a pretty penny. let's get into Twilight Zone Redux for this week. We are cruising through. We are season 3, episode 23. The episode is titled The Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank, directed by Montgomery Pittman, written by Montgomery Pittman, a rare writer-director of The Twilight Zone. And the episode is entitled The Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank. And opening narration, time, the mid-20s, place, the Midwest, the southernmost section of the Midwest. We were just witnessing a funeral that didn't come off exactly as planned due to a slight fallout from the Twilight Zone. So this episode opens up with two kids running to the corner of a church. It is a rundown kind of a church, and they look in, and there's a funeral going on. A bunch of sad faces, a box there at that window to the left. They're looking in, and everybody's sad and miserable, and you can tell that the girl in the front is somebody you love, and then the family is to the right. It's a mom and a dad and a younger sister. And then the most incredible thing happens as the pastor is giving the sermon. The coffin opens up, and Jeff Myrtlebank sits up. And it becomes this weird, like, everybody freaks out.
Right? They think it's a ghost.
Well, they can't tell what he is. He's a ghost or a demon or something. Mm-hmm. And basically they go outside in the parking lot, and the doctor's like, you were dead. Your heart stopped. You had the worst case of the flu I've ever seen. Then I was like, thinking about it. So the interesting thing here is it's a 1920s set episode. The flu pandemic that occurred in 1919, 1920 in the Midwest was a big deal, was a big historical deal. And so the rest of the episode plays out, and basically it's all these things where everybody's acting weird towards Jeff Myrtlebank, and Jeff Myrtlebank not only feels that everybody's acting weird, but starts lashing out. He gets into a fight with somebody that he his girlfriend's brother.
Right. He got in fights with this guy before, and the guy whooped him, but he whooped
the guy won, but this time he wins.
So the guy's like, there's something not right about him.
There's something which again leads to the craziness that we often see in Twilight Zones, where also that this cool episode had Rod Serling kind of just standing next to a jalopy. But this guy runs out and says, he whooped me. I've never been whooped before. They question the doctor, the town folk that run the town. They question the doctor, how could you make a mistake like this? All these different things. I didn't make a mistake. He was dead, and so it just becomes this thing. And they go to him, and right before they go to him, he basically corners the girl and basically says, will you marry me or come with me? Whatever I need to do. I know I want you in this life with me. And she says yes. And then all the people show up. And basically it becomes this standoff where they basically say, we want you out of town. And he comes up with a rather revelatory kind of like couple things. If I am, and this is the word that comes up, and I want to bring it up because it's very specific. If I am a haint, which is some sort of ghost or demon that is brought up in something else that we're going to talk about in a moment. If I am a haint, then maybe I could make your crops die, or your wells dry up, or your animals dead, or any of those things. Mm-hmm. So why mess with me? And if I'm not a haint, I'm just going to live here with my woman and not bother anybody.
Nothing you're going to do about it.
Nothing you're going to do about it.
Yep.
And the townsfolk, who are both superstitious and cowardly, even though they're in a big group, because one of the big guys in their group has gotten his ass whipped by Jeff Myrtlebank, they pull off, and they're like, we don't need to fight. We're good.
We need our crops.
And the one guy's like, there's one guy in back that goes, let him talk. And all I could think about was that scene in Blazing Saddles where it's like, I say we let him live. Right? And it's just this weird, it's just something weird where it's like, it reminded me of the Blazing Saddles. I say we let them go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just crazy, mob behavior that goes haywire. And so the episode ends with the crowd dispersing and her coming in and just kind of like, I don't know what, you got new confidence and I don't know what happened to you. And as it happens, oh, wait, I got the wrong picture. Sorry. As it happens, he has a match. And the match lights by itself, Jerry.
Yeah, it does.
The match lights by itself, and he lights his pipe, and she goes, how'd you do that? And he goes, do what? You didn't see anything. You're overreacting, sweetheart. And it's an incredible, and then the episode just ends with him walking away with her. And all I could think about, Jerry, was how great an ending to an episode this is, because it's perfect, because it's clear he is not the original Jeff Myrtlebank.
Right.
And then it's also clear that the revelatory thing where it's like, if I'm a Haint, like, there's nothing you're going to do about it. And if I'm not, I'm just going to live here with my wife. And it turns out he is a Haint or something. We don't know what he is. So it ends perfectly in the sense that it's open-ended. We don't know what he is. He's driven the mob away, and he ends it. And the closing narration of the episode is Jeff and Comfort are still alive today, and their only son is a United States Senator. He's noted as an uncommonly shrewd politician, and some believe he must have gotten his education in the Twilight Zone. So they wrap it around, and he is a Haint. Now, I was thinking about this, Jerry. I had heard Haint before today in one other place, Jerry. One other place. Can you tell me the place I heard it? And then I will show you the poster for the movie that recently mentioned Haint. I thought it was amazing. When they're at the barn, right? When they're at the club, the one character says, I don't know what they are. They're either Haints or vampires or something, right? But it's the first time I had heard Haint ever. I had never heard Haint before. But
I never did either.
I just chalked it up to like it's a southern voodoo, Southern Baptist, something. But today in the episode of the Twilight Zone, I heard Haint, and all I could think to myself is, it comes on the news. So Sinners, it comes on the news that Ryan Coogler is working on the X-Files, and Ryan Coogler is easily becoming one of my favorite directors. And Ryan Coogler is working on the X-Files because he used to watch the X-Files with his mom every Friday night. And I bet you. What was that?
I have the definition for Haint.
What is a Haint?
It's a Southern American term. It's a folklore term for a malevolent, restless ghost or evil spirit, often believed to cause misfortune, sickness, or harm.
Jeff Myrtlebank's a Haint. And a Haint is mentioned in Sinners. And all I could think about today was it coupled with the fact that Ryan Coogler just got announced that Ryan Coogler's X-Files is going to premiere on Hulu. And he cast Denise Deadweiler and possibly, Gillian Anderson's been given weird answers about whether or not she's going to appear on the new X-Files. And maybe David Duchovny. Maybe we're going to get the original X-Files, folks. I cannot wait for Ryan Coogler's X-Files, but I thought it was amazing that Haint comes up in Sinners, and Haint came up in our episode of the Twilight Zone today. Great minds think alike, Jerry. Great minds think alike. And I had never seen this.
We all get it from the Twilight Zone.
It really does. I'm the more I watch, the more I'm amazed that
you can see it, right?
You can see you can see the DNA strands.
I watched these just like you did. I watched these years ago. Some of them we didn't see, right? A lot of them.
I've never seen this one. I've never seen this one.
But now we're watching them with like the keen eye, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like,
and you're starting to see
the idea that all these ideas and thought, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when he's sending the kid by television, like, and all the little bits are like going over, and then they appear inside the television. Like, it's like, I think it's both. You know,
like
I think
Fly,
some
like
people.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Ooh, there you go. But yeah, it's like, but it's just like all the DNA strands that appear in all the stuff we love.
Mm-hmm.
It extrapolates out from Rod Serling. It really does. Like, so
There's
much of it.
a lot. I mean, not everything, but there's a lot, right?
Well, and don't you every week when we watch a new episode, don't you go, when it extrapolates out, when it ties to something like Sinners, right, which is so this year, 2025, right? It so ties to this year is a word I hadn't heard ever, and now I've heard it twice in 6 months because you know, I love Sinners and this, and it's just one of those things where it's like Rod Serling was on top of everything. Southern folklore in 1962. This episode aired in 1962, Jerry.
Somebody did some research.
Right, and just genius stuff. Now, Jerry, I do have to tell you, this is exciting, an exciting day. Episode 24 of season 3, Jerry, is a little ditty called "To Serve Man." Possibly the best episode of the show ever. Next week, "To Serve Man," people.
It's definitely good.
It's again, but this I would. Like, it is definitely a Twilight Zone that is written in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers 50s, right? It has the same ending as the Body Snatchers in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers of the 50s. But what I would say with this one, this is a really cool Twilight Zone ending in the sense that it's completely left up to the viewer whether you think he struck the match or not, whether she's imagining it or not, or right, whether he actually is a Haint. And his whole thing about, like, now instead of like the idea that Congress is run by Haints is kind of fun. Like, it's amazing. Okay, that is a Jaws collection. You should have Jeffrey Voorhees on the show. He played Alex Hittner in Jaws, friend of the network. We'd love to have him on.
Definitely.
I know he has sandwiches named after him. We would definitely do. Haint is a Cajun thing. Yes. I think it might also mention Anne Rice work. I won't lie. Like, I don't think it's like something that she goes into, but it's definitely something I remember. I know I read and Rice literature. Yeah, but that's Southern. I've never necessarily heard it until Sinners and this. So for me, the DNA strands are like even more like 1962 to 2025. They're right there. Anyway, good episode. But next week is not a good episode. Next week is a great episode. It's one of the best, like top 5, easy, top 5. Okay, where can people find your stuff, Jerry, before we go for the night?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Slapjaw Spotify, is everywhere.
Any streaming service you can find Slapjaw.
Any streaming service. You can find JW the Movie Guy on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, X or Twitter or whatever the fuck he's calling it. We're on IMDb. If you like the show, please like and subscribe to our network. Also on all those places: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, X, IMDb, all those places. If you like the show, please do that. If you like our network, we are a growing podcast network. We are super excited. We have other shows. We have a show coming up on Thursday, Untrained and Unscripted, with Ryan West or Riot West, whatever you want to call him, and Joe Ridgely coming back. They're having fun and doing all kinds of weird things, and they're funny. They're
good times.
Ryan has specific things he wants to get on, and Joe usually leads the conversation astray. Just how it is. Ryan is very nerdy, and we would very much be a fixture on our show. Also, we do a show called Generation Movie on Monday nights. We're not here this Monday night because Rich has a screening. I think I can say what he's going to see, but he's going to see a major release that's coming out in March. And then we are, of course, back every Tuesday night. Loud and Nerdy will be back next week, talking Scream, talking some other stuff, getting ready for the Academy Awards. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Stay safe. Go see a movie, Scream 7 this week. Hoppers, if you go on Saturday with your kids, 1 o'clock show nationwide. Last comment of the night goes to... Great show, guys. Thank you, Raven. We missed you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Everybody stay safe. Have a great weekend. We'll see everybody next week. Again, no Generation Movie night, next Monday because Rich has plans. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe in the snow, and we'll see everybody next week. Bye.